if we were to be pulling Emilius, let's pick a character. Let's say Spider-Man.
Okay. Yeah.
And let's say that we're pitching Spider-Man to somebody, to a producer.
Yeah.
Marvel, and we say we want Tom Holland to play Spider-Man, and they say no, anybody but Tom Holland.
Right.
And we want to be pulling Emilius.
Yes.
So, who is it that we say that could just never play Spider-Man?
Yeah. Who's the guy that they would never pick for Spider-Man if we gave them the name?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think I almost feel like it would be an opposite thing, because like what Milius did was like Conan's supposed to be kind of like a bodybuilder, and he picked the most unbodybuilder small guy ever. And for Spider-Man's supposed to be kind of like a scrawny, intellectual nerdy type.
Yeah.
So you'd almost have to pick someone who couldn't even do that. Like he's just too big, like. What?
Do I have to say? Or are you going to say the exact same
I don't
name
know.
that I'm about to say?
Who are you about to say?
Arnold Schwarzenegger.
Oh, well, I was thinking like today. Who's the guy today? Oh. Yeah.
Arnold Schwarzenegger.
Yeah, Arnold Schwarzenegger could not do it from back. Yeah, if we're picking Arnold from back then, he couldn't do it.
Yeah.
But I'm thinking more like an actor today who doesn't like where you're not pulling a like George Clooney, where it's like no, he's too old, to play it.
No,
like,
okay, yeah.
Like Timothy. Timothy, what is his name? Chalamet. Timothy Chalamet.
Yeah.
He could do it.
He could do it
because he's small and he could kind of play the like that meek kind of insecure, intelligent person.
Yeah, he could do that.
He couldn't play Conan though.
Right.
Right. Yeah. Who's somebody who couldn't do it? I think maybe like Chris Pratt.
Chris Pratt. That's an interesting pick.
Yeah, I think he's a little too big, and I think he plays a little too suave. Like he's never played someone not comically suave.
Well, I mean that's not, and I mean he wasn't always in shape. Like he was kind of a kind of a dork in like Parks and Rec. Are we talking about the same Chris? There's so many Chris's.
Yes, yeah, the Guardians of the Galaxy Chris.
Yeah. No, yeah. He was like in Parks and Rec. He was kind of more like a but he's dorky.
But he's big. Spider-Man, I think, is always supposed to be kind of like on the slenderer side.
Yeah.
Like he's a more slender, smaller character to emphasize the fact that like he's using intelligence and.
Yeah,
and those.
I thought that you were like gonna go like bulkier, bigger, like Chris Hemsworth or Jason Momoa.
Oh yeah, I didn't. Yeah,
big giant spiders.
I think once you play Conan though, or Superman, you get excluded, or Batman, you get excluded from Spider-Man. If you have the characteristics to play those characters, I wouldn't really think of them, but it's tough because like once again, there's not a lot of young actors anymore.
Right.
So it was something I was noticing like maybe 10 years ago, where like the biggest names in Hollywood were still like Brad Pitt and Angelina Jolie. Ago. Yeah, they were still the same people that were like big names like 20 years ago when I was a kid. Yeah. And now I'm an adult and I'm like, it's been like, these guys have been like the biggest stars for like 20, 30 years, which is fine and normal, but then I couldn't really come up with like who's the big people that are younger that feel like, oh, these people are big and they're up and coming
stars.
And it's like and they've gotten less. There's been less and less of them over the years, so it would be difficult to pick a Spider-Man because I don't know. There's not a whole lot of young actors.
It might be why I immediately went to Arnold Schwarzenegger.
Yeah,
it's like an older guy, but like Arnold in his prime. And like what's funny is that Arnold in his prime playing Spider-Man, it wouldn't be good, but I would still totally watch it and like have a ton of fun watching it.
Yeah,
and like he could still like say like stick around, but it's like the webs instead of the and, like, it would just be this like big dude who's like running around in a Spider-Man costume beating the crap out of people and saying bad puns. It's like that would be so much fun.
Yeah. I think if they made it during Yeah, if we can pick almost any time frame for it, I would say like the worst pick for Spider-Man would be Bruce Willis during the Die Hard years.
Yeah.
Because he's someone that would be like, that's huge. Like, oh, Die Hard just came out. Bruce Willis is like the biggest actor out there. He's the hottest thing there is.
Yeah.
He's not big. People were actually kind of, I think, like mocking Die Hard before it came out because they were used to seeing like Stallone and Schwarzenegger doing action films.
Yeah.
And now you've got Bruce Willis, who's not a bodybuilder, who doesn't look the part, doing the action. He just looks
like some guy.
Yeah. So like but I think he would be an absolutely terrible Spider-Man. Like absolutely terrible. Where like it could have potentially happened if they made a Spider-Man back then. Where they're like, get the biggest star, throw him in the costume, have his origin story, you know?
Yeah, he's New York. Spider-Man's from New York. It'll be perfect.
Yeah. He'll keep the accent, you know? Have him say some smart guy stuff, and then, you know, he could have some lines in it too, like, you know, oh, it's, you know, like, it'll be fun, come out to the coast, you know, we'll have a good time. You know, have one of those, but a Spider-Man version of it.
Spider-Man version of it, yeah. Hey,
stick around,
climb up some walls.
Yeah.
Stick
around, you know.
Stick around. That's a great line.
Yeah, it is good.
Just used in the wrong movie. It should have been used in the Arnold Schwarzenegger Spider-Man movie.
But I don't know. All time, the worst person to choose for anything other than a Danny DeVito role is Danny DeVito. Danny DeVito is the worst person to pick.
Yeah.
For like, any role other than a Danny DeVito role.
He's not who you want to pick to play like
a
character from a comic book, with the exception of the Penguin. Which he did an amazing job.
He was great in it. Yeah,
he's a great actor.
He's I don't know if people realize how good some of the actors are who don't look like Greek statues, whatever, you know, like who just who don't end up looking like, you know, like Ryan Gosling or Michael B. Jordan.
Yeah.
They're just Adonises, you know, literally.
It's like they'll end up on camera whether they're good at acting or not.
Yes, they're both good, though. They're good actors.
Brad Pitt takes his shirt off. He ends up in Thelma and Louise. It doesn't matter if he's a good actor yet.
Yeah.
Like, luckily he was.
Oddly enough, though, Danny DeVito takes his shirt off and he ends up on Friends.
Yes.
You know what I mean?
Danny DeVito's a brilliant actor.
Yeah, like Danny DeVito's great, and Dustin Hoffman's great, and Joe Pesci. Joe Pesci is another one who's just absolutely great. But they don't have that movie star looks.
Right.
You know, they're not Dean Martin good looking. I'm showing my age now by going back, you know. Going back in time. They're not Cary
Going
Grant.
back to before you were born.
Yeah.
Like, I'm showing my age now. You're talking about the 60s.
They're not Cary Grant good looking. You know?
Right.
I mean, these guys, yeah.
He's no Douglas Fairbanks.
Yeah, exactly.
The Danny DeVito Spider-Man movie, though, I think, I feel like I've seen Danny DeVito in a Spider-Man costume. It might have been like an SNL sketch or something. I'll have to look that up later.
Yeah.
Because he may have actually played Spider-Man.